Bonjour. Well, joining us today is a French SUV. तो थोड़ा flex करना तो बनता है. The Citroen C3 Aircross is what we are driving today और इसकी positioning काफी interesting है. But unlike other compact SUVs like Seltos or Creta that are 5-seaters, this car can sit 7. But there's a catch. This actually comes with 5+2 seating configuration, meaning you can remove these two seats, just fold them down and take them out individually. Honestly, can be done just in 10 seconds. And then you have a massive class-leading boot space of 511 liters. So जैसे Renault Triber was a 5+2-seater alternative to subcompact SUVs, the C3 Aircross is a 5+2-seater alternative to compact SUVs. और इसकी टक्कर मारुति सुजुकी Ertiga और XL6 के साथ भी होने वाली है. And since we are speaking of competition, there are quite a few hits and some misses. So watch this video till the end क्योंकि काफ़ी details और perspective आपको यहाँ पर मिलने वाली है. And don't forget to follow Park Plus, your car app. Do like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any action happening in the Indian car bazaar. I'm Shubham Parashar और चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं. The C3 Aircross will be offered with both 5 and 7-seater configurations but in a single, fully loaded variant. एक तरह से अच्छा ही है if the French brand manages to price it competitively. It will also get 4 customization packs, vibe, elegance, travel and care, offering more than 70 accessories to jazz up your car. And color options will include 4 exterior monotone shades or 6 dual tone shades. And speaking of color options, I quite like the paint finish on the Citroen C3 Aircross because काफी premium और थोड़ा high end भी लगता है. That said, थोड़ी सी cost cutting भी की गई है. Take these headlights for instance. Simple halogen units and no LED or projector headlights. So that is a cost cutting. लेकिन क्यों? आखिर Swift और Grand i10 में भी अब आपको projector तो मिलते ही हैं. चलिए, keeping that aside, let's get to the design because Citroen has nailed it again. And design has always been the game for Citroen. Even the same goes for the C3 Aircross. Looks very urban and very upmarket. Also, the chrome finish on the chevron has been done very nicely and overall the design is very neat. The overhangs quite curved. Even the entire face has that curvy appeal, so that is something that looks very good. Decent piano black finish on the front end. Contrast काफी अच्छा आपको मिलता है and quirky Citroen elements like the squared element right here. Even the bash plate has been done very nicely. Quite nice finish on the bash plate as well. So overall, I quite like the front end. It's bold, imposing, but cute at the same time. And then the curved overhangs, these are done very nicely. Good sculpting you have here and integrates the wraparound treatment of these DRLs and headlights very neatly. Also, these have been done to improve the approach angle of the car. Why? Because just in case if you want to take it for mild off-roading. We'll get to that in a bit. Profile is equally attractive. Very pronounced fenders and these 17-inch dual-tone alloy wheels are just the right size. And I love the way this C-pillar has been done. Bold sculpting you see here and the rear windscreen itself wraps around and merges with the pillar. And I can just keep on highlighting the design elements, but one thing that I would really like to point out here is the 200 millimeters of ground clearance you get. Obviously supports rough terrains and off-roading, and even with 5 or 7 people on board should be enough. Then 2671 millimeters of wheelbase you have. Again, class leading. Cabin space to improve करता ही है, but also has been done to improve the off-roading abilities of this car because keeps the overhangs very tight. So you get a very good approach angle of 20.5 degrees right there on the front and 25 degrees departure angle right here at the rear. What I should also highlight is that C3 के नीचे आपको बिल्कुल flat floor pan मिलता है, meaning even if you scrape it, underbody ज़्यादा damage नहीं होगी. And then underbody also comes with PVC coating as standard जो corrosion से बचाता है. Especially useful in coastal regions जहाँ rusting जल्दी होती है. अब बात करते हैं rear design की. It has been kept simple, ज़्यादा line और creases नहीं है, and the finish is neat. But the tail lights, these are normal ones, not LED units. So that is a mess, but I still don't mind having them because design is done very nicely. Even at the rear, the connected black strip here looks very good, and the bash plate also is very nicely integrated in the bumper. Overall, looks very urban still. And in terms of dimensions, the C3 Aircross looks very proportional. Here's a look at the figures. So on to the cabin now. First impression, nicely put together. Feel and appeal is quite upmarket, and the design is very positive. You have this bronze and grey color options for the dashboard trim, and practical enough to keep your belongings. So good amount of space on the central console. You can keep multiple phones here, cup holders bhi hain, or even your wallet. यहाँ पर central console में भी there's a small recess to keep your wallet or key. So very practical in those terms as well.
Well, quality level में शिकायत का ज़्यादा मौका नहीं मिलता, but when it comes to features, can't say the same.
There has been some glaring omissions in the features department. और मैं glaring omission बोल रहा हूँ because these days you see them even in entry level cars. Wagoner for instance. So किन फीचर्स की हम बात कर रहे हैं? For starters, आपको ऑटो फोल्डिंग नहीं मिलती for the ORVMs. Then चाबी से ही गाड़ी स्टार्ट करनी पड़ेगी. You don't have engine start stop button, and you get manual AC right here. So no auto climate control system. और जब ये फीचर्स नहीं मिलते, which have almost become a norm in these days in cars, then forget about features like sunroof, ambient lighting, 360-degree camera view, ventilated seats, or wireless charging for that matter. But when you come to think about it, how big a difference not having these features make? Well, auto folding mirrors, that's a very convenient feature to have, so that is a miss. Premium speakers lifts up that ambience inside the cabin, but चाबी से गाड़ी start करना, I don't mind it. Also, not having auto climate control, these manual AC work just fine by me as long as they are working well. And even features like ambient lighting or 360-degree camera view or not having ventilated seats aren't deal breakers. What really matters for me is that the cabin has been very well executed. Yes, fit and finish is top notch. Silver inserts on the dashboard. You know, the integration is quite nice. Dual tone color combination, ivory here and black on the top, looks very nice. Again, design is a big highlight here. Also, the seats, very comfortable, very good cushioning, good under thigh support, and lumbar is also quite good. So a longer commute, it will feel very comfortable. Proper armrest to nahi hai, but the drop down one gives me a good driving position. So again, no complaint in those terms. And again, features have been very well integrated as well. So the 10.2-inch touchscreen infotainment system, graphics are super sharp. It's very intuitive, techy. Response is also very nice and comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So very good in those terms.
Then there is the 7-inch digital instrument panel, again nicely executed, and you have 3 modes to choose from. Minimal, where the cluster looks uncluttered और बस ज़रूरत के information मिलते हैं. Eco, where it shows how efficient is your drive, and dual mode, where the cluster is loaded with all the information. It also offers features like auto start stop, hill hold assist, and a tire pressure monitoring among others. In terms of safety, dual airbags are on offer while mandatory features are present, ABS with EBD and essentials like Electronic Stability Program or ESP, but no level 2 ADAS features. Honestly, in wow features का नहीं होना tells me that pricing could be really competitive.
So on to the second row seats of the Citroen C3 Aircross, and honestly, the space is quite nice because knee room is ample. The driver's seat is set at my driving position, so good knee room right here. Also, I can tuck in my feet under the seat and decent amount of legroom right there. Under thigh support is also adequate, so no complaints. The cushioning of the seat again is specifically what I like. Citroen, they have mastered it. Quite soft and quite supple. Would be comfortable on a longer commute. But in terms of features, there are a few things that I miss having here. Like in the 7-seater 5+2 configuration, you don't have a center armrest, so that is a miss. You do have that in the 5-seater version. Also, you don't have any rear sunblind, so that is something which I would have liked to have here. Also, I have rear AC vents in this 5+2 seating configuration car. That is not there in the 5-seater. But I like the positioning here because to channelize air onto the third row is quite easy. So good positioning, good throw. Also, you have USB charging ports here. And the thing I really find a bit faulty is positioning of the power window switches for rear passenger seats. Position on the central console, you'll have to reach out not here on the door armrest where usually it should be. It's not a problem in general, but for people who have car sickness, for them it is a bit difficult, because if they want to throw up, they'll have to reach out there first and then they can pop out of the window and then throw up. So that is more time consuming and that could be a bit problem. So that's the second row story. Let's get to the third row and check out the space there. As you just saw, getting in the car is not that difficult. The door well is good in terms of size and one touch function for the folding seats there. But the third row space is a bit cramped for adults like me. बच्चों के लिए ये space I think shouldn't be much of a problem, but yes, for adults or people of bigger frame, you will be sitting knees up, and honestly this place is quite hemmed in because there's no air or there is no sense of light here. So the quarter glass doesn't help. Too small and no sunroof. I think that's why it is a problem. I can still manage shorter commutes, like within the city, but for a longer commute, only for children.
Chaliye, done with all the features and practical stuff, let's get behind the wheel now. And driving feel की बात करने से पहले, let's get figures out of the way. So Citroen C3 Aircross में आपको बस एक 1.2 लीटर का 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine मिलता है, which belts out 108 brake horsepower at 5500 rpm and 190 Nm of peak torque at 1750 rpm and delivers 18.5 km per liter. The engine is offered with just the 6-speed manual transmission. हाँ जी, automatic gearbox फिलहाल नहीं मिलती, which again is a miss. But we can expect it to be introduced this year itself.
So it's time to get behind the wheel now. But before I hit the road, Citroen has actually planned a fun off-road session for us with the C3 Aircross. But here is a disclaimer. Now this is not a 4x4. That said, has enough ground clearance, approach and departure angles to handle these mild off-road terrains, and we will experience it with that perspective. Let's get dirty.
Now the idea is to show you how well the C3 Aircross handles soft off-road terrains if need be. अब यहाँ पे दो पहलुओं पर फोकस किया गया है, राइड क्वालिटी एंड कंफर्ट ऑन रफ टेरेन्स, एंड हाउ एक्सट्रीम इट कैन गो विदाउट स्क्रैपिंग इट्स बॉटम. कंफर्ट की बात करो तो सस्पेंशन वर्क्स लाइक अ चार्म, बी इट ऑन सॉफ्ट आर्टिकुलेशन, रॉक बेड और पॉट होल्स. एंड देन कम्स इंक्लाइंस एंड डिक्लाइंस, जहां पर आपको 20.5 डिग्री अप्रोच एंगल की, 25 डिग्री डिपार्चर एंगल की एंड 200 मिलीमीटर ग्राउंड क्लियरेंस की वैल्यू समझ में आती है. We further got to experience it in the side incline test as well, and the C3 Aircross can wade through shallow water wading as well.
So on to the driving part now. In city traffic, I did miss that convenience of having an automatic to an extent. I think in another 6 months that will be sorted as what the company told us. But yes, right from the start, if that would have been offered, it would have been a good selling point. Having said that, with the manual and with this 1.2 liter turbo engine, the combination again is spot on when it comes to spirited driving. You'll enjoy it thoroughly, believe me on that, because the gear ratios are so evenly spread. The first and second comes very nice, very low, and the third, you have enough stretch band right there on the highway. So you can literally pull, and once you downshift, it is actually quick to build up on power and you get to almost triple digit speeds easily. So no power lag as such, even at the low end. So the low end has good surge of torque. You have that kick in and very smooth, you don't get that jolt. It is very smooth in terms of kicking in. That turbo hit is not there, and it builds up on the mid-range quite linearly and quite again easily. So that is something I really like when it comes to the character of this engine. Also, good amount of power evenly spread throughout the rev band. So whether you are doing 2000 rpm and you want to just downshift and get on to, let's say, around 5000 rpm, 6000 rpm, the engine is quick to respond, and there's progression still till about 6000 rpm. You can pull it on a nice stretch of road like this and it will go. Yes, the engine does tend to get a bit vocal, it growls, but it's only when you rev hard. At normal revs, if you are doing around 3000 RPM or something, it is quite at ease. So really I like that character there. Then, you know, the convenience in the driving which kind of compensates for the automatic is, even at lower speed, let's say I have dropped down my speed to almost 25 kilometers per hour in the third gear, and without any shudder, it again takes up right from there, and you can pull all the way to triple digit speeds. Just in the third gear. So again, very easy when you want to potter around in the city and quickly you want to make any overtake. Yes, overtaking comes very easy and you don't need too much to work with the gears. I really like that character of this engine.
So the major scope of improvement remains in NVH levels. Both wind noise और engine noise ज़्यादा सुनाई देता है inside the cabin.
Let's talk about the driving dynamics now. So we are in Chennai, we are on the highway, and as far as body manuals are concerned, again, that is not any issue for me as far as I am doing, reasonable speeds, high double digit speeds. The car feels very stable there. Body rolls will be apparent only when you go around bends or corners at triple digit speeds. So it's then when you'll feel those movement inside the car. But normal speed, if you're taking a bend like this, which is a long bend, absolutely no body roll there. When it comes to ride quality, Citroen is known for its comfort, the kind of comfort the suspension offers. The ride quality has always been superior in Citroen cars, and I can say exactly the same thing even about the C3 Aircross, because it just irons out potholes and bumps like anything. It soaks them, and when you throw it on a rough surface, you will get to hear the thud. That is something which is a bit prominent, but comparatively you won't feel them that much. So that is something which is again a very positive for me and gives a very good ride quality. Even on a longer commute, when there's bad section of road, you can carry decent amount of speed, and when you face speed breakers, you really don't need to drop down to really lower speeds there. So very convenient even from driving perspective and even for passengers inside this cabin. One thing that I would still like to highlight about the ride quality is the difference of what you hear in terms of feedback from the suspension and what you feel inside the cabin is much lower, and that is something which is very thing I think customers will like that. And finally, before I conclude, let's talk about the steering feedback a bit. Now the biggest positive and highlight for me here remains the turn-ins. Come very easy, is very quick, and when you're taking a corner like this, you can feel the entire section of the car front to rear turning in very tightly. So again, I quite like that feedback. Also the steering weighs up very nicely when you're speeding up, so gives you that reassurance, you have that confidence when you're going around bends like these. And at lower speeds, it is feather light, so very easy to navigate through city traffic and just potter around and amble around in the city. Honestly, the drive is very enjoyable. You like being behind the wheel, and the steering feedback is again something that is confidence inspiring. Having said that, not as engaging as Germans, but nothing that you will complain about. So to conclude on the driving dynamics, but honestly, I don't mind missing out on some features when a car drives like this. I am really enjoying being behind the wheel because the engine performs very smoothly and I have enough power back throughout the ref range. So who all will be the buyers for the Citroen C3 Aircross? Well, definitely not those who go gaga over features. So ये गाड़ी उनके लिए है who want good level of comfort, superior engine performance with a dash of practicality. Having said that, pricing, that will decide its success story, and it will have to undercut Korean and German SUVs by quite some margin. But that detail will be out only in September, so stay tuned and keep following Park Plus for all that update.